Welcome, folks. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Live Office Hours, where we help you build a career you love. Great to have you. Sun is shining where I am. I hope it's shining on your career too. Get in the chat, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. We're going to do a Q&A here after I go through the lesson. Put some question marks in front of your questions. If you have any of my programs, you're in any of the big boot camp, give me a hashtag, or you're a leader or a resume writer or whatever you have. Always love to know what you got going. Actually, give me 1 second. I got to refresh because I want to make sure everything is looking good. It does look good. There I am. Okay. Love to say hi to everybody. Who's in the house? Donna, Olga, grab the book, please. Cherry, Andy, Adam, Beth, how are you? From Chicago. So today I want to talk about job searching in the context of my newest book, The Zebra Code, is a career development book. And inside this book, this nice thick 352-page book, it's the subtitle is a step-by-step guide to mastering career skills that make you a standout professional. And it was written as a leadership development, career development, but a real career skill building book. And inside the book, I discuss the methodology for how I feel somebody evolves through their professional career and the different stages or tiers, if you will, that they go through. And at any moment in time, all of us, from the 22-year-old emerging professional to the 65-year-old seasoned executive, we have abilities related to these skills that are found in each of these tiers. And it's not as though we evolve through our career by only going from the first step to the second step to the third step. It's not linear like that. There are certain skill sets that make the emerging professionals, strong emerging professionals' ability to actually do their job. And so one of the things that I did in the book was I explained the evolution. And so at the base level, which is really, and I designed this figuratively in a pyramid because without this foundational base, this wide base at the bottom, it's very, very difficult to learn all of these skills. And so the bottom layer is a producer. It's operating oneself and making sure that you are able to operate, focus, you've got good organizational skills, you have confidence, you're self-aware, and all of these things that you want to carry with you every day of your professional life that make building all the more advanced skills that much easier. And then as we evolve and we rely more on communication, I call the second tier the communicator. That's using all forms of communication to build relationships with others. The third tier is influencing. That's even stronger levels of communication to motivate and inspire, move individuals and groups of people. And then evolving into the top tiers, which are a developer, which is really understanding how to systematize as well as develop and manage others, and then becoming a visionary where you're actually generating the most creative ideas. And then inside of each of these layers, there are somewhere on the order of a dozen or so skills, but if you add them all up, there's 46. And what I did was inside the Zebra Code book, I pulled 15 of what I think are the most critical skill sets. And I not only explain to you what they are, what they're all about, how to develop them, and how to practice them. And that's great from a career development standpoint, but a lot of these skill sets apply to job searching. So what I thought would be fun is if I peeled a lot of those 15 lessons, not all of them just for the sake of time, but many of them, and showed you exactly how they would apply to your job search. Because I know in my community, I have a lot of job-seeking friends. So if you're excited about this, let me know that in the chat. I'm going to roll through these somewhat in the order that they are in the book. I've conflated a few to make it simple, but I wanted to give you a job searching tip related to each one or as many of those 15 as I possibly could. First one that we're going to jump out of the chute with is focusing. Now, in focusing, in the book, what I talked about is creating a focused lifestyle where at any moment in time, you can concentrate on doing one thing at a time. Right now, at this moment, I'm speaking to you. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just focused on having this interaction with you that actually requires concentration muscles, and ability to create a capacity in my life so that at any moment in time, I have the energy to do it. I have the strength to do it. I have the ability to concentrate. If my phone beeps, I won't be able to look at it because I have a concentration muscle that has been built through practice and execution that enables me to do this and keep my mind on one thought at a time. And I take you through that in the book. But when it comes to your job search, when you're in the middle of your job search, one of the things I want to point to that's so important that I think the focusing chapter will help you with is staying locked in on your targets. I coach approximately 10 individuals a week. That's generally 10 unique individuals. Many of the coaching sessions that I have are singular in nature because people just need a scoot in the right direction, or maybe they need one job interviewing prep session. So when it comes to job searching, I don't tend to have many sessions with an individual. So I see a lot of different individuals. That's a good thing, right? It doesn't take much counseling to get them over the goal line. And one of the things that I notice is that many times people have difficulty in staying locked in on the companies that they're targeting, or the people that they're targeting, or the solutions or jobs that they are targeting. And it's especially difficult for more senior people because as we go throughout our careers, we tend to build more skills. We can do more things. We get exposed to more organizations and concepts. We find that we want to test them. One of the things that I want to stress, because I think you'll find your dream job a lot faster, is if you pick a target or two and you stay locked in on those types of targets. What I find people do is they abandon their path too quickly because they're not getting the results that they want. And the primary reason they're not getting the results that they want is not because they cannot get the results they want. It's that generally they're doing the wrong activities and doing the wrong things that are not leading to the results that they want. And what that does is it gives them a false sense, or it depletes their confidence level. It gives them a false sense of their ability to actually be successful when finding the right job and securing the right job with a great company that you want has a lot more to do with your ability to market yourself and sell yourself. These are skills that job seekers don't usually have because you're paid to do something else. So I want to encourage you to actually stay locked in. If you're not getting the results that you want, figure out why you're not getting the results that you want. And a lot of that can be done if you're more diligent in gathering the data around your search. When you target organizations and you send out your boss hunting messages and you send out your recruiter hunting messages or your HR hunting messages or your networking messages, keep track of what's actually happening. But I don't mean how many responses am I getting back. I'm talking about actually looking at and parsing through the organizations that you're targeting. Is there something common about them? I teach my clients how to segment their company targets so that when they're sending out their messages, they can evaluate their results in the smallest form possible. Meaning, if I'm sending a message to an organization, is it a software as a services company? Is it a services company? Is it a pharmaceutical company? What type of organization is it? Where are you having luck? Where are you not having luck? And so the more data that you can gather, the easier it'll be for you to troubleshoot. But my point is, I don't want you to give up too early, and too many of you do that. So that's item number one. Item number two is probably one you hear me talk about more than anything when it comes to your ability to actually make great choices. But self-awareness is really important. Now, in the book, I describe self-awareness in multiple formats, internal and external, how well you know yourself and how well you think others think of you, meaning the accuracy, your external self-awareness is your accuracy in how you think others see you. So how you see yourself, how you think others see you, but it's the will to put yourself in a position to succeed. And the way I describe this in the book is there is a way to set up your goals, your environment, your thoughts, your behavior, so that you are internally self-aware. When it comes to job searching, the number one thing you can do to increase your self-awareness, to make career decisions that are in alignment with who you are into environments you will be successful, is to create a list of requirements. These are operating parameters that you know you will thrive in. So for an example, when you think about targeting an organization, there are certain things that you need, some things that you absolutely must have, some things that are sort of nice to have, and some things that are really nice to have. You want a boss who loves and supports you. Maybe you need a mentor. Maybe you need an organization who has a particular set of cultural characteristics. They're a meritocracy. They have an open door policy. They're warm, they're welcoming. Maybe it's fast paced, something like that. What kind of environment do you operate best? If you can identify everything that suits you when you go in and you evaluate organizations, as you elicit information to help you understand whether they fit your criteria, you're going to know with open eyes whether this organization is likely an environment you will succeed in. When you lack self-awareness, you tend to forego the things you need in favor of other things. One of the greatest examples of lack of self-awareness in job searching is, has anybody, show of hands, ever taken a job not because you liked the company or liked the position, but because you thought the money was good, so you thought you'd be able to stomach some of the other things that go along with it? Maybe a boss you didn't love, or a product you didn't love to sell or market or account for, or whatever it is. And you dismissed some of the things that were so important to you in favor of something else that you thought overwhelmingly would compensate for your lack of getting those things that you needed. Anytime you do that, that's showing a lack of self-awareness, because you're not putting yourself in the best position to succeed. I'm not talking about the situation where Andy, I got to take a job because I need to put food on the table. That's one thing, but you're having other priorities supersede. In those cases, I understand it. But for many of us, that's not the case. So one of the greatest things that you can do in order to help your self-awareness is to actually make a list of all the requirements that you know you need. Then you gather the data with the employer. Then you can evaluate it. If you're not getting some of the things that you need, then you need to have a conversation with yourself about either how important are they, or might you be able to satiate them through some other medium, volunteer work, training you could pick up, other things that might be missing that you can supplement. This is really, really important. I go through how to set up the greatest operating environment possible in the book. And one of the other things to know about internally self-aware people. Internally self-aware people tend to achieve very, very high goals. And the reason that they do that is because they put themselves in positions to succeed based on their strengths. People who are not internally self-aware oftentimes do not achieve their goals, because they didn't put themselves in positions to succeed. So keep that in mind. All right. Number 3, habits. I talk greatly about building habits in the book. And everything from setting the habit around who you are, setting the habit with a formula that enables you to get into the habit very quickly. So there's really 4 parts to retraining this thing. Anytime you build a habit, but many of you would be more well served with lifestyle systems, mechanics, routines, those kinds of things. Let's not split hairs about the definition of whether something is a habit or a lifestyle system or a routine or a goal. They all have unique definitions, but for the purposes of what we're talking about, all I care about is getting you into a routine that does something that's beneficial to your life, and in this case, beneficial to your job search. The formula that I have that I want you to think about is cueing the environment, doing the act, reflecting on what happened, and then rewarding yourself. Everything that you do, it's going to be easier to build a habit if you do those 4 things and you do them more frequently, as in daily. Now, speaking of, when it came to writing this book took me literally 5 months to write, of daily writing at about 1,000 words a day on average. There was some iterating, but generally speaking, I was able to write this book in 5 months, and then I polished it for 1 more month. The way I did that was that every morning, my environment, this desk, was cued so that when I showed up, I didn't have to think about anything other than turning the lights on, turning the computer on, and then opening up the Word document where the book sat inside, and then I started writing because I knew what section I'd write. I knew I needed to write approximately 1,000 words. It didn't need to be Hemingway. It just needed to be written. So my environment was ready to go. I thought about the night before, making sure everything was clean. All I had to do was open up my writing logbook, open up the computer, and I was ready to go. I started fast. Then I did it. I wrote for an hour or two. Then I thought about what I wrote. I looked at the word count. I recorded that. I reflected on the fact that I did the session. Everything was great. Then more coffee or whatever it was. If I was going to have some fruit or whatever it was, there was some little itty bitty reward. Maybe I took the dogs for a walk, depending on what time it was that I wrapped up. But you get the idea. Many of you would be well served in your job search to operate the same way. I know some of you are full-time job searching. I know some of you are part-time job searching, meaning you have a full-time job and you can't spend all day job searching. So for those of you that are full-time job searching, the greatest thing that you can do to get in the habit of is sending 3 messages a day. If you're familiar with my job search challenge, you know that I want you every single day to target 3 employers, find 3 individuals, 1 at each employer if you can, or an individual that could get you to somebody at the employer, and then send 3 messages. That's emails, LinkedIn in-mails, any which way you want. You can make a phone call if you want. I don't really care. But a message in the direction of those 3 people every single day. So if you think about a habit, cueing your environment is I roll out of bed, I go through my morning routine, I get to my desk, and I hit the send button 3 times because those 3 messages, those 3 companies, those 3 people were already crafted the day before. Boom, boom, boom. There you go, right? Think about what you did. You sent it. You accomplished your quota for the day. You reflect, go get some more coffee, do whatever you need to do. But this is going to serve you best. A lot of you hem and haw throughout the day. You haphazardly look or apply online or do things like that when you would be better off having your environment ready. This is one of the best things you can do, the best habits you can get into when it comes to job searching. But remember, your environment has to be cued. If you open up your browser before you hit those 3 sends, your environment's not cued. You're giving yourself an opportunity to be distracted. And then you're going to go and you're going to start looking at beeps and burps and bubbles and whatever, or you might see something, a post or whatever, and get sidetracked. If your environment is queued, you don't have any of that open. You have your email open, you have your messages drafted already, and all you need to do is hit the button 3 times so that you get the victory. So forming habits, huge deal when it comes to job searching. For those of you who are working full-time, maybe you can't do that, or maybe you can. What's wrong with spending a couple of hours on the weekend getting your 15 messages for the week, 3 a day, all ready, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, plan it out, wake up in the morning, open your computer, hit the button 3 times, and then go to work, right? Do something like that. Or you'll do a few on 3 on Saturday and 3 on Sunday, and then pick a few days during the week to do it. But figure out mechanically what the habit needs to look like and make sure your environment is cued and you are ready to go. It's better to show up to the start line fast and ready than you're going to get over the finish line a lot faster if you show up to the start line the right way. All right, continuing on with this example. There's an entire chapter, it's actually the longest chapter in the book, on planning and running your day. And on planning and running your day, I talk about the day itself, but all the way from the evolution of the most strategic things that you're going to do. Meaning, I operate this business. On this given Thursday, I'm giving a live office hours talk. On Tuesday, I sent a newsletter. I did a whole bunch of things yesterday, the day before, and so on. But I have an entire month. We're doing this live, and it's September. I know all of the things that are going to be occurring this month and in this quarter and for the rest of the year because I have a master list, I have a quarterly list, I have a monthly list, and I have a weekly list of things I'm going to do, all the way down to what are the projects I'm going to be working this week. Well, every week I have a newsletter project that you get on Tuesday. Every week I also send you a newsletter on Thursday so that you will come to the live show, and then we have a talk and we do our Q&A, right? Those are little projects every week that I do. But I also have bigger projects, like I'm creating a webinar right now that's going to be a recorded webinar that you can watch. That's a big project in and of itself. There's promotional workshops, other things that I'm doing. There's a whole host of activities. But at any moment in time, I need to be able to execute a day effectively so that every one of my projects or all the things in the deliverables I need to do on a day are done. The secret here is what most people do, which is a very, very poor way to get the highest priorities and highest activities and most value done in a day, is they work their day by a to-do list, which I would never do. I work my day by the calendar. If you are job searching, you should work your day by the calendar, and in the calendar, you should have what you're going to be doing and what it's going to produce and what the level of finality is. Let me be really specific. It's one thing for you to take my last tip and say, oh, well, Coach Andy wants me to find 3 companies, he wants me to find 3 people, and he wants me to send out 3 messages, right? You could write yourself a to-do list that says, well, Coach Andy said 3, 3, and 3. But Coach Andy doesn't want you to do that. Why? Because I want, if for your full-time job searching, I want you to have an 8-hour day that has every minute accounted for it, and inside what those minutes are is going to be a deliverable. So Coach Andy's job searching schedule would say something like this. It would have a calendar that says morning routine, whatever it's going to be. At 8 o'clock, show up at the desk. Actually, Coach Andy would show up at the desk at 6 o'clock. But regardless of when you show up, between 8 and 8:05, hit the button 3 times, your send-outs go, and then you're done. Boom. That's it. Between 8:05 and 8:30, I'm going to do what? Something else. Between 8:30 and 9, I'm going to research tomorrow's 3 companies, and by 9 o'clock, I'm going to have them. Between 9 and 9:30, I'm going to search for individuals at those companies. By 9:30, I'm going to have them. Each time that I associate an output with the clock, it's going to get done. It's going to get done. Then if you get to the point where you say 10 o'clock, take a break, awesome. 10:15, come back. 10:15 to 10:15 to 11 o'clock, what are you going to do? I'm going to research and I'm going to evaluate different organizations. Oh, wait, hang on, I got an interview the following day. That's interview prep time. Fine. Whatever it is that you're going to do should have an output associated with it. If you say, I'm going to research companies to locate companies, I would rather you say, I'm going to research companies and I'm going to generate 10. And if you have generate 10 in your mind, you're going to research differently than if it says generate company list. When there's no hardcore number or goal that you're trying to attain from a deliverable standpoint within that slot. And that's why you loaf around, and that's why you get distracted, and that's why you start surfing the internet or you start clicking on stuff you shouldn't be surfing on, or because you didn't hold yourself accountable to actually hit the deliverable. My day, every single day, this morning, I started working at 6 o'clock. Between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock, there were emails, a series of emails that needed to be written. There were many of them. I knew I couldn't get them all done, but by 7 o'clock when I stopped, I knew I was going to have 5 of the 7 written, or whatever it was. Between 7 and 7:05, I took a quick break. Between 7:05 and 8 o'clock, I actually worked on 2 marketing reviews. I literally created videos for people with their resume reviews, their cover letters, and their LinkedIn profiles, and I needed to make sure that not only did I record them, but then they were generated, and then I messaged Kara. They were clicked, done at 8 o'clock, both done. So I knew that those needed to be done by that time. And so I made sure that I was ready and moving at 7:05 to make sure that I could get both of those done. They usually, all the editing of the resume was done on a different day. The cover letter was edited a different day. The LinkedIn profile was reviewed a different day. Today was about recording their videos, because I'm in video recording mode all day. So I know that needs to be done. At 8 o'clock, I went on to something else, and so on. I knew that the dogs needed to be fed at 10:20 so that I could get them situated and they can go potty and whatever. Outputs related to time. Who's tracking? Who cannot do this well? Why? Because you're looking at a to-do list. There's no clock associated with your to-do list. You're checking off things without being efficient, productive, valuable. You know what I'm saying? This is a big, big deal. That will change. It will change your production level. Okay, wait, I have to take a sip. Who loves my baby zebra mug? That my boot camper, I don't know if she's here. Michelle Lee, thank you for this again. All right. How about this one? Confidence. So, big chapter on confidence. And I talk about how confidence has more to do with your relationship with failure than your relationship with success. When you have successes, it's easy to be confident, right? I'm seeing myself do it. And generally speaking, there are three things, generally, not always, but these three are pretty well 99% encapsulating. There's three reasons why people lack confidence. One, there's an activity that they are reluctant to do, like cold calling. In your case, job searching, cold emailing. The second thing is maybe there's a big project, like I want to write a book, but I don't know all the steps. There's like 25 steps involved in writing and releasing a book and publishing it. Well, all I know is I didn't know how to do that the first time I wrote Interview Intervention, my first book. All I knew was a lot of people did this, and books were published basically every day, but more likely every Tuesday all year long. And so I would be able to figure it out. There's a big project and there's a lot of steps. I'm not sure. I can't see it all. I lack confidence. I'm worried I'm not going to be able to do it because I don't know exactly how. Then the other reason is usually a reluctance to public speak or something where you have eyeballs on you. You're afraid of looking badly. And that usually has more to do with where you're placing your attention on yourself and how you look, as opposed to whoever you're speaking to and how you're going to be helping them. Now, there's techniques in the book where I show you how to overcome any of these types of issues when it comes to your lack of confidence and how you eradicate it. But one of the things that I want you to do, again, going back to my job search challenge conditioning, is when you have an opportunity to do something that you're reluctant. I call it overquoting or putting in the reps. That's one of the things that I want you to do. I get emails every day, usually the week that we hold the Job Search Challenge multi-day event, which we always hold in November. And I get emails every single day for that week and the week after from people who were so scared to send messages with their resume to bosses or recruiters or to network or whatever, only to say, wow, after I did this for a few days, I got over the fear. I'm so much more confident. I know nothing bad's going to happen, but they needed to put the reps in order to get comfortable with it. And if you would just do it and not worry about it, you're going to get over it faster and you're going to become a lot more confident. And what you have to remind yourself is you don't do this every day, right? It's not a natural act to be reaching out to somebody to offer your services, your employment services, to help them with their team or even networking or to recruiters or whatever it might be. So I want you to make sure that you are conditioning yourself to get in the habit. The faster you could hit that button 3 times, the better off you're going to be, the faster you'll build your confidence and understand that there are failures involved. I would have recruiters work with me when we were recruiting Mile Walk Inc., the executive search firm, and I would tell each one of the recruiters, you are going to fail 20 of the 22 days every month. You will fail. You will come up empty, except you're not really failing. You're putting in the work, right, to reach out, build your candidates, the portfolio of candidates, your candidate pipeline, you're interviewing people, you're evaluating whether they'll be a good fit for the clients, and then you're going to send candidate send-outs, basically like your resume send-outs. We're going to send candidates to clients, only qualified ones, but our goal is to send X number per week. That's your success rate. And then 2 times a month, people are going to get hired, and those are going to be your victories because of the 20 days of failing that you did. You get 2 days of victory, and you get lots of money for that. For you, it only takes one job. But if you're reluctant to send out messages because you lack confidence or you're simply reluctant because you're afraid, you're not going to get the results you want. Or if you spend it talking to a system that hates you even more, that applicant trashing system, while that might be a path of least resistance emotionally, it's not nearly as high value as sending a cold email to someone. Then when it comes to the overall search itself, one step at a time. One step at a time. The only thing you need to do when you send your first message is send the damn message. That's your goal. The next goal is to get a response. That's the next goal. That's it. The next thing you do is you evaluate what you're going to do with that response or silence. That's the next step. That's it. You do one thing after another, one foot in front of the other. You keep going. You do not stop. And eventually, victory. Confidence is built by progressing in level of difficulty, repetitions, mastering your emotional agreement with failure. This is what's going to get you over the goal line. All right, so that's confidence. That's 5. All right, now, empathy. Empathy is, there are 3 different kinds: cognitive, social, and empathic concern. I talk about this greatly in the book. Cognitive is the thinking person's empathy. I don't really know how you feel. I can't possibly know how you feel, but I am a well-adjusted adult, and my brain can process that what you're going through stinks. I went through job searching once, but just because I went through it once or 5 times doesn't mean I know exactly how you feel while you're going through your job search right now. But as a person who deals with job searchers on every day, I know that stinks. While I'm not emotionally attached to it, I can appreciate what you're going through stinks. Then there's social empathy, which is where I'm actually feeling for you. Literally, I'm having a feeling, a reaction to what you're going through. And then there's empathic concern, which is kind of a blend of those where I'm thinking, I'm feeling, and I want to act on your behalf to help you. So for me, I'm high in cognitive empathy and I'm high in empathic concern empathy because I move to help you. That's what I want to do. I'm a helper by nature. So when I want you to think about empathy and being more empathetic when it comes to your job search, the first thing that you can do that will probably greatly improve your ability to be successful is to disarm yourself. When you go into your job search, when you go into a job interview in particular, much of the time you feel as though you are in an adversarial situation. Right? They have something you want or they have something they can offer you, and you're thinking of the interviewer or the employer in a combative way. But what if you paused for a second and thought about the employer, what they might be going through, the struggles they're having? The mere fact that they're looking to hire somebody means they have problems. They do. They have goals, they have aspirations, but they have problems, and they need somebody like you. How about if you thought about the interviewers and you thought, God, that would stink if I had to stop my job in the middle of the day to talk to somebody. That somebody just happens to be you, right? And that would really stink to be an interviewer and not really know how to interview. And that would really stink to have to be an interviewer when you don't want to be there. You got deadlines. You might be having a bad day. God only knows what's happening in your life or your customers or your boss or teammates or whatever you're going through. And you don't know how to interview, and you need to talk to me, and you need to make a decision on my behalf. What if you could just put yourself in their shoes and did everything humanly possible to try to help them understand how you can help them understand how you'll help them achieve their goals, be kind to them even if they stink at interviewing. I guarantee you, my way works better than your way. It does. And if you want a hell of a lot more on this, I actually did a job search challenge, an advanced techniques video that's on my YouTube channel. You can check it out where I go into this. This is a great place to start. Obviously, being empathetic is just like a superpower and it makes you better at everything in life. But if you could, for a minute, think of the employer and the interviewer as a team with you. You're both working for an hour or 30 minutes or whatever it is, or 8 weeks or however long you're in the interview process to achieve a common goal. which is to determine whether you're the right person for them. And if you are, how can you work together to best position yourself so that when you start there, you will be able to get out of the gate fast? This way works better. I know it's not natural. It's better though. All right. Networking. Here is a big issue. When it comes to networking, those people that are in the job searching situation, much of the time, not all of the time, but much of the time, and I'm saying this based on the many, many, many thousands of people that I work with, is you only network when you need something. Well, number one, that's bad. In the book, I go into all the mechanics of networking, structurally how you should do it. I go through all of the concepts, meaning all the emotional triggers, how to send your messages, how to communicate, how to network, what kind of system to have in place when you network. I go soup to nuts. But one of the biggest tips I give you anytime you're networking is you should have a proactive network map for where you want to go and then determine who can get you there. I want to go here, who can get me there? Instead, what a lot of you do is you lose your job, you go into complete panic mode, you send a mass LinkedIn post, which I would never do, on LinkedIn saying, I'm unemployed, does anybody know of anything? I'm not having any luck shoving my resume into the applicant trashing system. Hiring stinks, recruiters stink, everybody stinks because I'm out of a job. That's what you do. But instead, target where you want to go. Where you want to go could be, I want to go to certain companies. I want to meet certain kind of individuals. I want to get more affiliated with certain kind of groups. Wherever it is you want to go. I want to write a book. Who do I need to get affiliated with? Publishers, literary agents, acquisitions, editors, bookstores, whatever, TV shows, whatever it is. I have a network map. It says there's a faceless person over at this company. I don't know anybody at this company. I need to get to the head of whatever, or somebody who's in a managerial position that makes these decisions. Then I'm working backwards. Do I know anybody who knows anybody there? No, I can send a cold email. That's networking. But the point is, where do I want to go and who can get me there? Don't reach out to your friends and say, I'm unemployed. Do you know of anything? That's very, very difficult for them. Yes, some of them will say, oh, you should call so-and-so and you should call so-and-so, and I might be able to do that. But most people cannot, and most people are busy, and your situation is not their highest priority, especially people you haven't talked to in 10 years. So I want you to think about building a map. Where do you want to go? Why do you think I have you run your job search based on a target company list, not surfing Indeed, heaven forbid, for job openings? So map it. Where do I want to go? Who can get me there? Then you figure out how to get there. Then you use all the tricks and principles. I literally outline your messaging in the Zebra Code book. I tell you, this is how you structure it. I give you a sample of one of my networking messages to Ariana Huffington. It's all in there, but it was mapped. It was mapped. All right. There's a couple of chapters in there. One is on communicating. One is on crafting compelling messages. And one is on the power of your personal story. All of these chapters have to do with communication. There's communication for different reasons. Communicating in just the communication, general communication standpoint is listening, speaking, exchanging verbal and nonverbal cues to form a mutual understanding. How do we present something? So I go through all that. When I talk about crafting compelling messages, I talk about the mechanics and the sweeps you go through in order to ensure that you are creating something powerful. It doesn't matter whether it's a sales presentation, a white paper, a Word document, an email, anything that you're crafting. There are certain elements that go along with communicating, right? There's the exchange of information, but I might be exchanging information for various reasons. I might be telling you something because I need you to go and act on it. I need you to go and research it. I need you to do something. I need you to, an FYI, I just need you to know it. So there's many, many reasons why we communicate what we communicate. But at the end of the day, when we communicate, we will instantly become better communicators if we consider the other party before we consider what we want to communicate. So when I put a talk together for you, I already know what I'm going to teach you. I have to think about you and what it might be like to be not getting promoted, not advancing as quickly as I want, being in a company I hate, working for a person I don't enjoy working for, being out of a job, needing a job, wanting a better job, being confused. There's 184 of you, however many. You're going in 184 different directions. I need to figure out how to package a talk that resonates with all of you, making it feel like it's only for you individually. That takes iteration upon iteration. It takes putting in the mechanics. It takes putting in the pieces. It takes putting in the instruction, the stories, right? Eliciting the feelings or making sure that you're connecting with the feelings. So one of the fastest ways, I don't care what your level of skill is in communication, one of the fastest ways to become a better communicator is to think about them first. That's empathetic too. What are their goals and problems? What is it that they're feeling, or how do I want them to feel? Hopefully better. But if you do that and you consider them first, they're the interviewer. You know, you all laugh at me when I say it doesn't matter what the interviewer asks me. I'm going to give the interviewer the story that the interviewer needs to know in order to make a decision about hiring me. That's because I need to take accountability to get that person the right information. That means I need to think about who they are, what they want, what they need. And then I need to think about how I'm going to package what I'm going to tell them. But it all starts with obsessing over them first. Who are they? What are they? And even if you don't know them, what would a person who's interviewing me for a role like this need to know? And so if you can do that, and I go through this mechanically in 3 different chapters, the communication chapter, the crafting your compelling messages chapter, and in the power of your personal story, how you piece this together, whether you're persuading, whether you're informing, right? Motivating, and all that good stuff. But the one trick that you can do every single time you communicate, meaning, I'm sending a LinkedIn in message, I'm sending an email and a cover letter and my resume, I'm actually in an interview talking to somebody, I'm giving a 30, 60, 90-day plan presentation. Anything that you do, if you can think about them first and what they need to understand to make a good decision, and you make your communication about their goals, not your goals will happen better, faster if you do this. But what do most people do? What's the big mistake? They think about what they want to say. I did a resume workshop with you a week ago, and one of the big points was, I said, well, when you write your resume, you're trying to craft all this stuff you want to say about your personal work history. But I explained to you that a recruiter is looking at your resume and looking for what the recruiter wants to look for, not what you wanted to say. They're looking for what the hiring official told them to look for. I'm looking for a salesperson, preferably 10 years, because that's about what I need them to have an experience. I need them to know software as a service is sales. I need them to know how to handle complex problems. I need them to understand customer relationship management, because that's our solution. And they have a list of things that they're looking for. Irrespective of what you put on your resume, that's what they're looking for. So you need to think in advance. That's considering them. I talked to you ad nauseum about picking the highlights that go on your resume, which have nothing to do with what you're most proud of and everything to do with what you think they need. It all goes, any form of communication has to start with them, not you. But 90 some odd % of people start with me, not them. Change this. I teach you how in multiple chapters. All right, next one. Creativity. Actually, I hope I didn't skip one. Hold on. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay. Okay, I have a creativity chapter in there. Becoming creative, and I describe for you 2 of my techniques that I basically just sort of packaged for you on how to generate ideas. I called them ex nihilo and ex aliqua. Ex nihilo is Latin for out of nothing. I have a brainstorming session with myself because that's the only way I brainstorm. I don't brainstorm with other people because I don't want other people's ideas intruding on my thinking. I'll bring my ideas to another brainstorming session with other people, if you want to call it that, and we'll talk about ideas. I ask myself 5 questions every morning. The goal of asking the questions is to generate a quantity of ideas every day, every week, every month, every year. There's no way no way on earth I'm going to be able to implement all my ideas. That isn't the point. The point is to come up with a great idea or ideas, or even little improvements that I can be doing on a continual basis because I'm built the habit of doing the repetitions, of doing this every day. And if I do it for 20 minutes a day, think about how many, it's 100 minutes a week times 50. You get the idea. That's a lot of thinking and it's a lot of ideas, and it's aimed at improving my business. I ask myself questions like, what can I do to better improve my service to my customers? What can I do to better improve my service to my community, the non-paying members of the Mile Walk Academy general community? What can I do to better market or sell myself and my business? What can I do to streamline my internal systems, and what should I stop doing? I ask myself those 5 questions every single day. Sometimes I spend 5 minutes, sometimes 20, not usually longer than 20 because I don't actually have that much more time in the morning. Not to mention, the longer you're thinking in one sitting, the more saturated it becomes as far as wringing out new ideas. Now, that's one way. Ex aliqua is out of something. So I can see an idea or a thought or a sentence or a movie or listen to a podcast or whatever it is, and then have a reaction to it. So yes, I agree, and yes, I agree, but I think something's different, or no, I don't agree, here's my thought. That gives me 3 avenues to generate additional ideas out of something. Now, how this applies to your job search, I want you to just think for 1 second. Just imagine this. If you spent 5 minutes a day, 5 a day, and asked yourself these questions. So here I'm giving you your ex nihilo daily questions, job searchers. I want you to think about your past employers. Ask yourself questions. Could I return to them? Have any of my past employers been merged, divested, acquired, gone public, whatever, right? Moved. Are there any partners I used to work with? Are there any people I should call just to say, hey, just get reconnected, right? Generate. Network map. What if you spent a few minutes, 1 minute, thinking about where the hell you wanted to go and wrote it down? I guarantee you, if the act that you wrote it down, you've now increased your chance of getting there by about 1,000%. So think about, well, who else might I want to meet? Are there other kind of companies I might want to meet? Could be low priority, doesn't matter. Brainstorm. Generate. I don't know. What if I get involved? Hey, I'm unemployed. I've always wanted to speak at this conference. I know a lot about this. Who runs that conference? Who picks the speakers? Write that down. Because you either want to go there now, which would be really good, or at some point. All right, what can I do to better market myself? Is there anything I'm not doing? Should I look at my resume? Does it really? If I didn't know me, would that market me? Is there a LinkedIn article I could write? Is there a LinkedIn article that I saw that I didn't agree with and I want to write my own piece on it? I don't really care what you do to market yourself. Is there a way you can improve something? Can you improve your speed rack of cover letters? Anything. All right. Is there anything that I can be doing more systematically better? I can tell all of you one thing that I would do, every one of you can improve this, is better harnessing the data of your job search challenge reach outs. And if you don't know what I mean by this, if you don't know what the job search challenge is, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. There's a free video that's out there that gives you the basic blocking and tackling of it. But okay, well, who am I sending it? Can I better segment the companies I'm reaching out to? I've told this story, I don't know, about 1 million times. I've coached people where they will come to me for the coaching session and say, Andy, I'm not getting results with the boss hunting technique as part of the job search challenge. I'm sending my 3 a day, 3 a day, 3 a day out. I sent 3 a day every day last week. I sent 3 a day every day this week. Here we are meeting the following Monday. I spent 30 out and I only got 5 responses. Yeah. But if you look at that and you segmented your 30 reach outs, well, 6 look like they're this kind of company. 6 look like they're this kind of company. 6, 6, and 6. And you got 5 responses, all from the ones that look just like this. You went 83.33% and 0 for the rest. So this is a waste of time. This is a hot zone, right? You could just, that's systematic. That's paying attention. Is there a way you can automate certain things? Can you sit on a Sunday morning for an hour before the kids get up, schedule all your emails in Gmail that you want to send out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I want you to schedule them out 3 each day. I don't want you to schedule out 15 on Monday. The reason I don't want you to do that is because there is a cadence to what you're doing. There is an opportunity for you to get feedback along the way. There is an opportunity for you to make adjustments on Thursday. If you're seeing stuff that's happening on Monday or Tuesday, you're getting replies, not getting replies, you're getting questions, you're getting objections. Can you address them? I want there to be a steady state. That steady state, the frequency. We talked about the habits. A big part of building a habit is frequency and consistency. Frequency, the number of times you touch it. Consistency, the when you do it each day. That's why I want you to hit the button 3 times at 8 o'clock. By 8:05, I want you to be done. Actually, by 8:01, you should be done. So I want you to look at your systems. And then, is there anything I should stop doing? How about stop putting your resume in the applicant trashing system? How about stop looking at Indeed? How about stop looking at a lot of things? How about stop all that surfing you're doing that isn't serving you? Surf with a purpose. So there's your ex nihilo creativity brainstorming list of questions. Feel free to add more, but I don't think you need more. But I think you need these because these are all aimed at high value, and following up for the umpteenth time with somebody is not a good idea. All right, that's something you should stop doing. All right, so just to recap very quickly, focus, self-aware, build your habits, operate your day by outputs to time slots, confidence, rep it, empathy. Think about the employer. You're a team. They're struggling too. Where do I want to go? Networking. Who's going to get me there? Not who do I know and where can they take me? That's okay too, but not as effective. Consider them in all forms of communication. You're getting the theme here, right? Generate ideas by taking time to actually think. All right, I said I was going to get that done in under 55 minutes. That isn't all of the lessons in the Zebra Code, but it's a handful, and I thought these were really germane to helping you improve your job search. If you enjoyed this, click the like button. Please make sure you subscribe to the station. If you're here with me live, we're going to the chat. If you're watching me on the recording, I'll see you next week. All right. How we doing? What did I go through? Why not 15 at once? I think I answered that. Okay, for those of you that do not have this little beauty, it's my best piece of work. It just is. So grab it. We have $1,000 literally in free bonuses in the book club. As long as you have a book to read, you can join the free book club. So you can get the book in audiobook, you can get the ebook, you can get the hardcover, you can get all 3. It's really nice. It's really pretty. I'm a fan of the hardcover. I'm just a fan of books, meaning I like to hold it and I like to mark it up and I read it with my Sharpies and all that good stuff. I'm happy to go into any more details. There are 2 videos that I would highly recommend you watch. They are the launch party videos that we did on August 6th and August 8th. On August 6th, I did a session on how to build your career development plan step by step. That was on Tuesday, August 6th. That was in a live stream. And then on Thursday, we came back and I did a major lesson on 10 steps to mastering your trade. So for your specific function, skill, solution, how do you become the best you can be, or the best of the best at that? Cool. Now, one of the other things, don't forget, My firstborn, there's a lot of communication principles in here. That's why the subtitle is Communication That Gets You Hired. I'm still shipping this, have been since 2018. For $7 USD, I'll send this $30 book anywhere you do get the ebook and the audiobook in that package. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Let's get to the Q and the A, because I have got a lot of videos to shoot today. So, what do we got? Okay, just looking at this. Oh, let's answer this one about the zebra code. So, Michelle, Andy, I'm a member of your Leadership Academy. Thank you. Do you recommend the audiobook or physical copy? So, not to be funny. So here's how I think. I like all of them, and I literally use all of them. Like, I'll listen to the audiobook when I'm in my car or when I just want to hear it. Sometimes I listen to the audiobook when I'm working out. The physical copy, to me, if you are only going to get one, I recommend the physical copy. The physical copy, to me, is with the challenges and everything in here, the graphs, the pictures, and everything that goes along with explaining the methodology, teaching you and the thought provokers and working the challenges and all that stuff. It's just better to have the physical copy. When you have a digital copy, the book gets lost. Any book, that's not just my book. It's sitting, it's hidden, it's not with you, you're not working it, you're not reminded of it, but it's just so much easier to follow in the written form. Now, with the audiobook, you do get a booklet, a PDF with the audiobook that does have the pictures and the graphs, but it doesn't have a lot of the other material that you need. It has a lot of the tables and those kinds of things. They're all good. They're all good. The ebook they're all good, but if given a choice, I would get the physical copy. But again, some people, they don't even want any paper in their house. I like books. So I hope that helps. All right. Adam Stark, how can I make my service and operational efficiency bullets stronger? Lots of experience booking travel, diary management, arranging meetings, but don't remember specific value or numbers. Okay. For the future, I understand you. I'm going to help you with the past, but for any of you, get the Career Achievements Journal. Kara, can we put that in the chat? Because the Career Achievements Journal is going to help you capture everything you're doing at the time you're doing it, which is when you should capture it, and don't rely on memory. The trick, and it's literally a trick because it's not even the real deal, but it's a trick to make your bullets sound more powerful, is to add descriptive context that shows me order of magnitude. Let me give an example. Booking travel. How many travel bookings did you do on average on a day? Can you safely say, I did about 5? Then you did 1,000 in a year, 200 work days, or whatever you want to call it, something like that, or 2,200 work day, whatever it is, or 220 work days. If I'm a hostess and I seat people, how many people do you seat a night? That adds context. How many, on average, how many meetings were you arranging? How many people's diaries were you managing? Managing diaries for 6 executives. Something like that gives context around what you're doing. So now I'm always going to say, okay, well, what happened with the travel booking? That's an administrative function. Did you do anything clever or cool that saved your company money because you were thrifty and diligent in how you found the best deals? That's what I want to know. Because one is an administrative task. The other is an accomplishment in saving money, expenses. But that's the trick. Add context around for how many you handled. Bernard, given how tough the job market has been in tech, do you have indication that boss hunting has been equally effective? Many companies, at least in the tech sector, have hiring freezes these days. Okay, great question. Boss hunting is the most effective technique no matter what is happening in the market at any time. Okay, I'm a company and I have 1,000 employees. Even with a hiring freeze, I probably have 200 openings a year. Do you get this? All of you, do you get this? People leave. It's when a hiring freeze is on, that doesn't prevent people from leaving the company. They have to replenish. So if there's a hiring freeze, what they're really saying is we're not adding people. No, you're replacing people though. And when you boss hunt, I would trade up. If I got 10 people on my team, 2 of them can go. Heck, 4 of them can probably go. And I would trade them out if you were stronger. I would entertain that. The other thing is, are you not likely to get a response when that boss is not getting, number one, the boss is not getting emails, even if they're in a hiring frenzy. But if there's a hiring freeze, they're especially not getting them. There's no competition for the boss's eyeballs. And you're planting seeds. Maybe you talk to this boss for 10 minutes and he remembers you or she remembers you. So do not stop, ever. And if you could, okay. I didn't go into this. I had a whole bunch of things I wanted to tell you, but I wanted to try to do this talk in under an hour. So on focusing, y'all are focusing on all the wrong information. Stop looking at that, the numbers, the layoffs, the whatever. It does you no good. And your 3 a day, 3 a day, 3 a day, should you go. I don't care if the employment market is going up or down. Send the message, move on. Send the message, move on. Control what you can control. You listening to news, just remember, what you are hearing is extreme. News, by its very definition, means it's newsworthy, means it's not mundane, meaning it's extreme. We all live in the mundane, day in and day out. You change your directions based on extreme random information. Stop listening to the noise. I wouldn't care. I would be going after what I wanted and I would figure out a way. Then I would look at the data. I would figure out what they're saying to me and then I would alter my messaging if I needed to. So I don't pay any attention to any of that. I stay up to date on the numbers that the Bureau of Labor Statistics kicks out because I just want to see the trends and I want to forecast what likely is going to happen so I can properly educate you. But I am not worried about whether this company or that company laid off 1,000 people or 10,000 people. It's not indicative of the entire world. It isn't. Tracy A., how to speed up research for boss hunting. When is enough research enough? I tend to spend hours over several days to weeks researching companies and looking for potential bosses. If you're spending 5 minutes on a company and can't find the boss, you're spending too much time if you go beyond that. I'm not kidding. I literally am not. Think generating quantity. I want to work for this company. Can I find it very quickly? No, move on. Can I want this company? Can I find it very quickly? No, move on. Can I find somebody that looks even remotely close to a boss? Fine, good enough, go. Don't get hung up in all, like you're measuring it with a micrometer, marking it with chalk and cutting it with an axe. That's what, like, you all spend so much time analyzing. Analyze on the back end. Get in motion. I assure you, get the quantity, make your message thoughtful, send it, and then let something happen. The more time you're spending searching and not doing, the worse your results. On the one hand, you might say, well, Andy, isn't it better to be really, really thoughtful and really tailor a message and this and that? I've given you the templates. The templates are already tailored. All you need to do is find a body to send it to, change a few things, and it will look unique. And then go. Get more data. See what's happening, then make adjustments. Then analyze, then make adjustments. You're going to be better off. Most of you are spending too much time looking for the exact boss. I don't care. Go up. Then you go up the chain, not down the chain. So then look for a managerial resource of any kind. I'm really interested. I loved your background. I'm interested in getting your unit. Is there a place I can add value? That doesn't work, go to a teammate. That doesn't work, move on to another company. Stay in motion. Did you last a couple weeks ago, I did a talk on 9 contrarian habits of mine. And one of the habits was I never mix, because mixing creates inertia. Meaning, I told you that I have these 2 booklets. This booklet is a daily journal that I write in every single day for a few minutes. It has nothing but happy thoughts. This is my misery journal. It's a worry book. Only negative thoughts go in here. I never mix these thoughts. And this is designed to make me stop worrying. It gets very few entries, but anytime I'm bummed out, I'm worried about any little thing, I'll put it in here because it conditions me not to worry. I never mix. When you heard me earlier today in the package talk about I did a resume review. I did a resume review. I edited it with the track changes and added comments and all this stuff. I did a half a dozen of those in one sitting. I only did those. Half of those people got complete marketing reviews. I didn't mix. I just did, boom, done. Deliverables done. I'll go back another day, we shoot videos. I never mix my thinking and my doing. So when I'm scouring for bosses, I'm looking for a quota. So you heard me talk about, I have a writing logbook. I don't care what I write. If it's 1,000 words that I can get it down on paper, that's progress. That's good. I don't edit it. That's inertia. I write it, generate it, and then I'm done. I'll clean it later. It's the same thing for you. How I need to generate, your goal is to generate a number of bosses. It's not to generate the boss for one company, because then you're slowing yourself down. And don't look for anything but bosses. Company, boss, company, boss, company, boss. That's it. Volume. You can tinker with your messaging. You can tinker with it later. You're creating inertia. You're taking a lot longer than you should. We did the same thing with recruitment. Candidates. Oh, you see a company we don't know? Write it down on a piece of paper and keep moving back. Candidates. We'll go look for clients later. Just separate and then think volume. Karen, when concluding a networking call as a result of boss hunting, I ask if there are others they recommend from their network that I talk to. More often than not, they don't. Should I follow up? Let's get you fixed initially. If you ask generically, that's hard. Do you know anybody at this company or this company or this company? Start there. Do you know anybody at any companies like that? Maybe even boom, boom, boom. Now you got 6 in. Pick your 6 top favorites that you would want to get into. And if you actually have the luxury of talking to somebody as a result of boss hunting, give them something specific to react to, because that's going to get better results. Then you could follow up with them and say, hey, thank you so much. I thought I'd ask, I'm also targeting these, organizations. Do you know anybody? That's a fine follow-up. So you gotta, you on the one hand, some of you think, well, if I tell them companies, I'm narrowing their thought process. No, you're raising the likelihood that you're going to get a response. If they say no, go to a new grouping. But the more open or the bigger blue ocean you send them into, the greater the likelihood they're not going to be able to process it. The fact that somebody off the top of my, I know so many people. The likelihood that you want to know somebody at a company, if they're in Chicago, I probably know somebody at the company. Or I know somebody who knows somebody at the company. But if you tell me, Andy, do you know anybody at that company? I could probably rattle off names. If you say, hey, I'm looking in that space, and it's like, my brain is that's just too much for me to process. So think about that. Melissa will be having a coffee with a VP of a company, LinkedIn network communication result. Awesome. She does not know that I applied for a position at her company yet. Any further advice? Well, number one, I'm not sure what the actual goal of the networking is. Meaning, if you said LinkedIn network communication result. I don't know if you boss hunted her, because then I would go one route. If you just said, hey, I'm interested in talking to people in your space, I would probably go another route. I know you applied for a position. I would probably work that in the conversation at some point. I have like scripts and agendas and things like that in the job search coaching program when it comes to these kind of things. The quick tip for you is if you're doing a networking meeting, you want to drive the discussion off their problems, not your needs. Because you want to, here, again, every time I sit with somebody, every time somebody asks me to do a podcast, if we do a prep call, first thing I ask them is, how can I help you? How can I help you? How do I make your life better? And so I understand you need a job, but you're going to get way better results if you're helping whoever think through their troubles, their goals. This aspect here of you focusing on them and helping them with their goals and their ambitions and their problems. Hey, I have experience with that. Have you considered doing this? It's really worked well when I was over at such and such. We had that same problem. Here's how we solved it. You're giving value. It's big. It's a big deal. Any networking meeting should be, how can I help you? The first words out of your mouth should be, how can I help you? Or, I mean, like whether they're literally that or figuratively that. Hey, what issues are you facing right now? Maybe I could lend some ideas. So we go into this in spades, but it all starts with that. Jeff Moreau, how do you stay focused throughout the day and stay on each individual task? I created a calendar for myself with specific things throughout the day. Okay, you see this right here? Okay, wait, well, this page here happens to be my inventory of the week, and this here is a breakdown by day. And if you turn this page, which you obviously can't see thanks to my super high def glass camera, that's my week. Those are the days. Meaning today, it's Thursday, it's 12/12. It says you're in live office hours from 11 to 12:30, right? It has it all blocked out. So if I'm job searching, I'm blocking my day that way. My goal every day is to send 3 unique messages every single day. Okay, how do I work backwards from the goal, and how soon in the day can I get those goals done? Because once I get those goals done, I have victories. Send. That's 8 to 8:05, 7 to 7:05, 9 to 9:05, whenever you start. The rest of the day, I have to look at, well, what are my tasks for the week? So I know that on Tuesday morning, there's a deliverable that goes out, but I know that on Monday, Kara and I have to review it. And in our calendar, that stuff's done the prior week so that we're not tinkering with that, because I want to be able to address all the current things for the week, like these shows, coaching sessions, and that kind of stuff. So what my calendar will say is it will have the act and the associated output. There's outputs in every minute of my day. Outputs. Not make progress on. Make progress on is not an output. Make progress on to get to chapter 3 halfway done is a deliverable. So when I'm looking at my activities, I have to look at, well, what do I have for the week? I have an interview on Thursday with company XYZ. That means I'm prepping Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, little bits each day, and making sure that stuff's in order. That prep needs to say prep for evaluating interviewer, prep for power story, prep for whatever it is. You got to be explicit with what's going to be done. Then if you leave a block of time that says find more companies, how many more companies do you need to find? You're only allocating the amount of time that you need to get to your goal. If I have a list of 50 companies that I generated, I might not need to generate more companies for 3 weeks. That's fine. So then what are you doing with the other time? Are you reaching out to more people? Are you targeting more whatever? I'm looking at What is it that I need to do? I don't need to rebuild the job search boot camp for 3 or 4 more years. It's perfect the way it is right now. I'm never going to have to do that. So I'm spending more time doing what? I'll market it, right? We'll do other workshops, but I'm not rebuilding that product. It's the same kind of thing with you. You've got your power stories down. You got your power stories down. You don't need to keep replaying them over and over again. You might have some nuances, but like it's what do I have left to do and what will pull me forward and what are the high value activities? The high value activities are always direct reach outs, interviews, those kinds of things. Those are high value activities, but not at the sacrifice of the other things you need to do. What a lot of you do is you get an interview or two on the line and then you stop sending out messages. And then you come to me and you cry and you say, oh, I was in this interviewing for 4 weeks and I really thought they kept telling me I was the lead pony and then they gave it to some internal candidate. Yeah, 4 weeks ago, that's 60 more companies you could have reached out to, but you didn't. That's what happens. And then what happens? Your blood pressure goes up. And you have this emotional roller coaster instead of smoothing it out thanks to habits, thanks to planning and executing your day by deliverables, which say get 3 more out. You miss 3 that day, 6 the next. You miss 3 that day, 3 that day, just aggregate it to 15 of the week. But you're better off being consistent. So it's sticking to it. Here. Okay. I have, where is it? Okay, here, I don't know that you're going to be able to make this out. Can you sort of see that there's checks here, right? You can sort of see that. This is a booklet. It's a habit tracker. It's a makeshift back of the napkin habit tracker. I used to keep one of these religiously. 5 years ago, I stopped. The reason I stopped, because I was so dialed in. I never missed a meditation. I never missed stretching. I never missed this. I never missed that. But I found myself, oh, this summer has been insane with the book and all the extra work and all the stuff that has been required. I've been trying to keep up with my workouts and everything, and I don't like to cut those things. I noticed I was skipping a few more things than I normally should. That's it. No more. So every day I write this out. You can see a whole bunch of check marks, right? Check marks, check, 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 check. Okay. It is amazing what staring at this booklet will do to make sure I get the stuff done. If you need a booklet like this that says, did I send my 3 sendouts? Check. Did I find 10 more companies? Check. Did I prep for the interviews? Check. Are my power stories in order? Check. Did I watch Andy's latest Thursday live office hour show? Check. Give yourself a list of things that are job search related that you are likely to blow off. And then you will know why you're not getting the results. It works. It works, I'm telling you. And then each week on the other blank page, I write what happened, what I could have done better, what I was really happy with. This is a whole side thing because I had to fix me. But you need to fix you when it comes to job searching. Do it. Christy, how do I professionally apply to a position with a range lower than the value I know I would argue I could bring? I feel disingenuous applying to a job with a much lower salary range. I mean this in the sweetest way. Get over it, okay? You join a company, you don't join a job. Where your success will have a lot more to do with where you place your attention than your ability. Meaning your job search ability. I'm telling you, if you focus your attention on the company, the value, you're a lawyer, I believe, if I remember correctly, like corporate counsel, or that's what you're shooting for, if I remember that correctly. And I would be targeting because you want to get in the organization because you know you're an awesome lawyer and they'll figure out where to place you. Don't you decide where you belong until you get in the interview and you work with them. And so what a lot of you do is you minimize the opportunities that are out there and available for you because you're self-selecting out or you think you're disingenuous. I say, no. Do you have a company you want to work for? Is there something you could do to get in? Do it. If they want to talk to you, they think you have something to offer. It doesn't matter what the pay is. You'll figure that out at the end after you've totally sold them on how much value you're going to contribute. I didn't released this yet. Kara doesn't. I haven't sent it to Kara yet. I want you to do me a favor and write this down, because your answer, whoever you are, Christy or anybody else, lies in here. The reason you're not getting the results you want. You stress outcomes in the resume. You stress process in the interview, and you stress value in the negotiation. Outcomes, process, value. That's where you sell each of those things. That's how you get hired and get paid the most. Get the interview, get hired, get paid most. But what a lot of you do is in the resume, you're focusing on not your outcomes, not the benefits. You're focusing on your activities. Yawn. In the interviews, you're trying to tell them the results, except what you're missing is the fact that all the winning in the interview comes from your explanation of the process of how you achieve those results. Yes, I give you storytelling techniques to put the context in the front. That's the wow factor. That's the gravitas that captures and keeps their attention, so that you can then regale them with your outline and your playbook and your framework, because the middle part is what wins in the interview. And then when you get to the negotiation table, it isn't about, well, I think I deserve this. No, what value are you going to create? Show me that. And then I will pay you more. And so if you don't have that down and you are not accentuating each of those outcomes, process, value in the resume, interview, and salary negotiation, you're not going to max it out. It doesn't matter to me where you start in the interview process. You get the whole interview process to explain to them who you are, what you're about, the processes and frameworks you bring, and the value you're going to contribute. And then you hammer it home at the end. True story. Luke Skywalker must be a Star Wars fan. Mr. Andy, how many minutes, hours should it take to tailor adjust resume verbiage for a specific job? P.S. Using your template already, you the man. Okay. All right. Again, let's go with, I can't remember who asked me this earlier. I think it was Tracy A. when she was asking me, how much time do I spend on boss hunting? I'm going to say, Luke, take what I said to Tracy and change boss hunting to resume writing. I almost am not kidding. Have a base resume. The base resume, if you are focused, you have a base resume that is humming. It has the right career profile and it has the right career highlights, and the career highlights are selected very carefully based on the likely goals and problems of the organization you're targeting and how you've overcome those problems to achieve those goals for somebody else, just like you're going to do for them. If all this is in order, you should spend no time modifying your resume. Then you're going to say, okay, but I want to put it in the applicant trashing system. Against all of my counsel, you're going to do this. You're going to go and you're going to put it in the applicant trashing system. And then to which I'm going to say, just very quickly, if you're going to do that, meaning because you have a job description now, you're not going into the applicant trashing system unless you have a job description, excluding you sending your resume via email if they have a generic inbox that says, we welcome any applicants, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to tailor your resume unless you want to look at some of the jobs and look at some of the nomenclature, in which case you could do exactly what I'm about to tell you. Just look to see if the nomenclature, two things, nomenclature, am I using the same? Do they call it a business development executive, but my old company called me an account executive? Maybe you say perform business development activities, blah, 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 and you neutralize the language. Okay, so the keyword wise. The only other thing that I would look at is the job description asking me to do certain responsibilities and achieve certain goals, to which it is so clear and plain as day that I know I've done that, and I need to make sure that I'm selecting those bullets out of my professional experience section and moving them up to the highlights section. So number one, they're doubled up, and number two, they're up at the top so that they immediately see what I want them to see. Minutes. If you're spending 10 minutes modifying your resume for a job description, it tells me, one, you don't have a good base resume, or you have a good base resume, but now you're pursuing a position that maybe isn't your bread and butter, or is kind of an offshoot, which I actually don't have a problem with. I might have a whole separate resume for that, which I don't love, but I would rather you do that. So that's what I would say there. Minimal. Fan of Andy. Does anyone have issues scheduling a screening interview? How to handle a recruiter who reaches out and asks for best dates and times to have a phone call but does not respond? Fan of Andy, I wouldn't even worry about it because you don't know what's happening internally. That recruiter might have reached out, well-intentioned. They liked your background. Awesome. Then here's what happens. Any one of these. They got 3 candidates in the pipeline. The hiring official says, I don't want to see anybody else. I think we're going to pick from one of these 3. Somebody turned around to the recruiter and said, we're putting that position on hold. Somebody said, we're going to delay it till next quarter or whatever. Any of those are possible, none of which you know. Another possibility, recruiter reaches out to you and it wasn't really the recruiter. It was a screener who used the recruiter's LinkedIn account and sent you a message, then said, hey, can you send me some dates? And to talk to you if you're interested, or maybe you did, I don't know. Then the recruiter looked at it and said, oh, Fan of Andy isn't a fit. I don't want to talk to that person. It could be anything. My point is, if you are in motion 3 a day, you're not worrying about that because that's less likely to happen in the context of the volume of opportunities that you have because you're going at it pretty hard and consistently. This is the way I approach my life. I do everything. I set up everything to withstand any kinks or things that I cannot control. So I'm never worried. Somebody doesn't want to join my program? Fine. Somebody's, hemming and hawing? Fine. I'm not spending any time on that. I am building a system that services the people who are engaged and is helping, those that are interested in learning more. That's it. That's all I concentrate on. In the interest of time, Terry, how do I ask for feedback for a job I did not get? I'm going to send you there's a video on my YouTube channel about that. So I want to stop it here, folks. Just a couple quick announcements. We have a lot of really great stuff coming over the next few months. And I know we just had my birthday week, the specials. If you miss those and you're kicking yourself because you didn't get into any of the programs that you wanted, email Kara at support@milewalk.com and she will help you with the best price on whatever product it is that you want. So just I want to get you to where you want to go. Just reach in and ask her if you got any questions. The next thing is we've got let's see, we're live next. I got to look at the calendar. We're live next week for live office hours. We're live on the 19th at live office hours. And on the 26th, I have a job interview playbook webinar similar to the resume writing webinar that we just did last week. That resume writing webinar is no longer on my YouTube channel, but we are working to get that out in a reviewable manner. That should be coming soon. But we got a lot of really great stuff planned throughout the week. If you have any questions about interview intervention, $7 we'll ship this anywhere in the world. Plus you get the ebook and the audiobook. The Zebra Code, this is on sale everywhere books are sold in hardcover. And for those that have e-readers, meaning like Amazon, Nook, Kindle, and so on, the ebook is available. And then audiobooks, it is through Audible. I know it's there. It might even be in some other places as well. I don't know how that gets distributed, but it's out there and available. I narrated it. It's 9 hours and 50 minutes. If you want to listen to me for a whole day straight, please do. All right. I enjoyed this. If you enjoyed it, please like it, click it, share it, subscribe to the station. People need help. And you all, there's still 139 of you here. If you all just sent it to one person, That's a big deal. It really is. All right. I appreciate you all so much. I hope this was valuable. I wanted to do something a little different. We got some good videos coming up on Tuesdays. We got some good live office hour shows coming as well. I'll see you around the shop. You know where to get me. Take care.